Yes, I heard Darren Fletcher earlier describe what we have for you today as a West London trilogy. I have to say, it's a busy weekend in London with one thing and another, the football, the rugby, half-term as well. I noticed the place seemed to be even more busier than it normally is. Well, this Saturday afternoon now, 3 o'clock approaching, grey skies over Loftus Road. Javier Hernandez is just down on his knees, as he does before the start of matches, just for that final little piece of preparation, speaking to Robin van Persie and Ryan Giggs over the centre circle. And this match in the Barclays Premier League is bottom against top. Manchester United's target today is to win here and to go 15 points clear at the top of the table as we approach the end of February. The match begins. Anthony Taylor's the referee. Manchester United play it forward, and it immediately finds its way to Julio Cesar, the Queen's Park Rangers goalkeeper, who clears. The big talking point here among the Rangers supporters before the match, and I'm sure probably among many of the Manchester United supporters as well, is the fact that Jose Bosingwa is in the Queen's Park Rangers team, having been completely out of the picture since November, early November, when he refused, so Harry Redknapp said, to be one of the substitutes against Fulham. And it seemed at the time that he would be leaving the club in January, but not so, and now here he is, Bosingwa, playing against Manchester United. Bobby Zamora also in the QPR team. But here is Ashley Young being booed. Remember his dive against Queen's Park Rangers last season, which won a penalty at Old Trafford. United winning a throw on the left-hand side. United playing from right to left in the first half towards the Loftus Road end of the ground. Throwing into the area is headed away by Samba, out of play, and we'll get a first word since kick-off from Graham Lasso. He is here with us. Graham.
Well, Bosingwa, as you've just mentioned, I think it's a big game for him and Traore today to contain Nani and Young, two flying wingers for Manchester United who could create all sorts of problems if they're not contained. It'd be interesting to see also how the teams set up in midfield against each other, and that battle could be key to the chances that QPR create for themselves.
Yeah, the QPR team, Julio Cesar in goal, back four of Bosingwa, Samba, Captain Hill and Traore. In midfield, Graham, we've got Townsend on the right-hand side here, and then in the centre, Bia and Granero, with Tarabt on the left, and Mackie looks as who's playing, just off Zamora.
Yeah, I think Harry Redknapp's decided to play with loosely speaking, two up front, because it gives them the chance, Queen's Park Rangers, to be a bit more direct, drop balls into Mackie, take the pressure off their own back four, and actually, get some knockdowns, play a little bit of, as we call in the game, percentage football.
And Manchester United, they make 7 changes in total from the FA Cup game against Reading on Monday night. I'll tell you about them when we've come back from Bolton, which is where Alistair Yeomans is, and you've seen an early goal, Alistair.
In the first minute for Bolton Wanderers, lovely move down the left-hand side, cross came in, Darren Pratley with a diving header into the roof of the net. It's Bolton 1, Hull City 0.
And Morecambe are 1-0 up on Bristol Rovers in League 2. So the Manchester United side, De Gea in goal, at the back, Rafael da Silva, Ferdinand, Vidic and Evra. So Ferdinand and Vidic reunited for this game here against QPR. Carrick and Giggs in the centre, Nani on the right, Young on the left, Van Persie and Hernandez. Wayne Rooney is among the substitutes. Wasn't sure whether he was going to be involved. And similarly, Queen's Park Rangers have got Loic Remy among their subs, as is Junior Hoylett. But the United side, pretty strong, Graham, for the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a wonderful balance, not just in the team, but on the bench as well. They've got players available in every position on the bench, so they can adapt as the game unfolds. And I think for Queen's Park Rangers, they've got to really deliver with this team that are on the pitch at the moment. The formation that Harry has picked is quite positive, but it's going to require a huge amount of effort and concentration for Queen's Park Rangers to contain a Manchester United team that are in fantastic form.
QPR are in possession over on the left-hand side with Traore. Now here is Tarabt, who just drops into a central position. You know how he can drift. And now Tarabt, not in possession, has made his way all the way out towards the right-hand side, but Bosingwa couldn't find him with the pass, and Manchester United have intercepted it. So Giggs bringing it forward. Giggs plays it to Young on the left-hand side. Young now to Hernandez. Hernandez played it to Van Persie. I think he just checked himself before he passed the ball, and as a result gave it away. So Queen's Park Rangers in the blue and white hoops are on the move. Here is Granero, one of the 3 players who've returned to the QPR team after their previous game. A fortnight ago, when, remember, they lost 4-1 at Swansea. and the little recovery that they had came to a shuddering end. It's QPR 0, Manchester United 0 on BBC 5 Live on this Saturday afternoon. Over on 5 Live Sports Extra, you can hear now the Six Nations game between Italy and Wales. And Andy Gillis can update us from Rome,
where it's now Italy 6, Wales 9. 3 points back for the Italians from the boot of Chris Burton, an infringement at the scrum by the Welsh, penalty in front of the post, successfully converted. I think I mentioned it had stopped raining a few moments ago. It's now raining even heavier again. 6-9, Wales lead.
Well, we've had a threat of snow all day today in London. It's been a really strange sort of flurry. The lightest of flurries seem to have continued for most of the morning and most of yesterday afternoon. And actually, I must mention the brave souls, some might say the foolish souls, I saw this morning in Hyde Park, members of the Serpentine Swimming Club, who were emerging from the waters at round about 8 o'clock this morning. And I must say, Graham, their skin looked as red almost as the Manchester United shirts this afternoon. So I presume any of them listening will be in full recovery mode this afternoon. Free kick to QPR on the right-hand side, but there's been a goal at the Emirates. Jonathan Ledyard.
Santi Cazorla, 1-0 to Arsenal, and relief felt all round. To be fair, the Arsenal support was good. There's been solid pressure by Arsenal. It's paid off, the ball pinging around the Villa area. Right foot, left foot, and right foot again. Cazorla, 1-0 Arsenal.
QPR have got this free kick. Granero comes across to take it. The former Real Madrid man. Manchester United, of course, involved in that battle with Real Madrid at the moment. So Granero, right-footed, curls it into the box, delivery to the near post, bounces off Mackie. The delivery wasn't great from Granero, and Manchester United can clear it. So back to the Reebok Stadium, Bolton and Alistair Yeomans.
Bolton needed a win today. They're already 2-0 up. Marvin Soldell wriggling into the area. The ball fell to Mark Davis on the edge of the penalty area. He fired home unfailingly. It's Bolton 2, Hull City 0 already.
So Hull had the chance today to move within a couple of points of Cardiff, but 2-0 down in the early stages. BBC 5 Live, QPR 0, Manchester United 0, and QPR now with a free kick on halfway here on the right-hand side. It's Doncaster 0, Yeovil 1. Yeovil, who have won their last 9 league games to get themselves into the playoff positions in League One. Free kick, Bosingwa takes it deep into the area, headed away by Ferdinand, comes out here on the right-hand side to Townsend. Andros Townsend on loan at yet another club from Tottenham. His left-footed cross is blocked by Ashley Young. Granero claims he was fouled by Young. No free kick from referee Taylor. And then Bosingwa blatantly shoved in the back by Hernandez. And it's a free kick to QPR near the dugouts down below us.
That's twice now Hernandez has questioned Bosingwa's temperament by giving him a little kick and just then a little shove just to see if there's any reaction at all. But Bosingwa is pretty calm about it at the moment.
Can't think for the life of me why they would question Bosingwa's temperament.
I'm surprised actually. The fans have been all right with him, haven't they? After saying don't fancy being on the bench. You know, they've not booed him since he started.
Well, I suppose they're in such a position where the regulars here probably feel that they've got to support every QPR player. QPR lose it. Hernandez plays it forward by the angle, but Van Persie was in an offside position, and it's a free kick to Rangers.
This is where Manchester United are so quick on the counter-attack. They draw teams in, nick the ball, and then they break with 4 or 5 players. This time Van Persie and Hernandez linking up. Van Persie just straying offside, but shows the danger.
It's been another goal in the Bolton Hull City game. Alistair.
Another goal for Bolton Wanderers. Corner right-hand side from Jay Spearing. Craig Dawson got a header to it. I think it crossed the line before Marvin Soldell followed up and made sure. A remarkable start. Second place Hull City are trailing Bolton Wanderers 3-0.
Tarab very nearly got away from Manchester United towards the edge of the area, but the final line of defence was there. Ferdinand and Vidic. It was Ferdinand on this occasion. And then Mackie loses out and Manchester United bring it forward. Excellent atmosphere inside this tight little ground for this game, as there so often is for matches of this nature. And QPR have won it back. Tarab runs into Raphael, gets a fortunate break of the ball. He's got Traore outside him. Tarab plays it diagonally low into the 6-yard box, but too far ahead of Zamora. And De Gea was able to pick up.
Taarabt is certainly a talented player. He's changing his position a lot. He's starting off on the left-hand side of the pitch and then breaking in, cutting inside and causing Manchester United a few problems on the edge of their box, but nothing as yet to really trouble De Gea.
Wycombe 1-0 up on Southend. Wycombe 1, Southend 0. 0-0 here between QPR and Manchester United in the Premier League. Almost 10 minutes played. We'll be around all of our featured matches presently. But United, red shirts, black shorts, black socks, bringing the ball down with Carrick. And then Evra just flicks it, back heels it into the QPR half, and that's easy for Bosingwa. And now Townsend is challenged by Young, and it's out of play for a throw-in. So tight it is that even though the ball bounced towards the dugouts down there, the way that the stadium is, we can't see them at all. In fact, we can, unless we stand up, we can't see the near touchline from where we sit here, right at the back of the stand on the South Africa road side of the ground. Kilmarnock 0, Aberdeen 1 in the Clydesdale Bank Premier League. Rory Fallon for Craig Brown's side. Another throw into QPR, almost up level with the edge of the Manchester United box. And Bosingwa, seen a great deal of the ball actually in the early stages of his comeback for QPR, his first appearance, his first involvement with the first team for 2.5 months. Bosingwa now crosses towards the near post. Vidic, the United captain, is there to hook it out for a throw near the corner flag.
Well, Queen's Park Rangers certainly have to be happy with their start. They're aggressive, they're pressing high up, they're able to drop balls into Zamora, who's a key player for them today in holding the play up and linking with his teammates that are trying to break forward. But a good start by Queen's Park Rangers.
Chap gets up to us and changes seats just down to our right as QPR take the throw, and it's cleared away by Vidic on the edge of the 6-yard box. Hernandez now just plays it back towards Ferdinand in front of his own penalty area. So, as promised, around the grounds on 5 Live, starting at Arsenal again with Jonathan Ledger.
Arsenal leading by 1-0 against Aston Villa. Wilshere early chance, Cazorla goal, and just a few moments ago Arsenal quite lucky. Good run by Nzogbia. Bonalhor seemed to let the ball run too far for him. Snapshot, Szczesny just pushed it up in the air. 1-0 Arsenal.
Big game for both sides at the Medeski Stadium, no doubt. Reading and Wigan. Jonathan Overend.
Yes, 0-0, but a lively start, as befits a match of this you-know-what status. Reading, well, very close through Akpan with a header just over. Wigan playing 4 at the back today. A good chance from DeSanto, forcing a diving save from Federici. 0-0.
Russell Fullers at Carrow Road.
Goalless, but a lively start here too from 2 goal-shy teams. For Norwich, Robert Snodgrass's shot deflected off Sylvain Distin and onto the roof of the net, and then 90 seconds later Nikita Jelovic's close-range toe poke blocked by the legs of Mark Bunn, so it's goalless after 12 minutes.
So Norwich 0, Everton 0, and how have they started at the Hawthorns, Pat Murphy?
It's West Brom 0, Sunderland 0. 2 in-swinging corners from Sunderland's Johnson caused problems. Macaulay injured, colliding with his own goalkeeper. Couple of moments worthy of note. 2 clever, calm, controlled clearances from Titus Bramble. West Brom 0, Sunderland 0.
Manchester United free kick here, played in by Young, and it was Nani who got there, but trying to do quite a difficult thing, Graham Lasso, trying to twist and turn and glance a header into the net, and he headed it wide.
Yeah, the ball was behind him and slightly high, but he tried to sort of reverse it with almost, with one side of his head back the other way. Fantastic delivery, in contrast to Granero had a free kick a couple of minutes ago for Queen's Park Rangers and scuffed it on the floor. And these moments have become key. Manchester United, good delivery, Queen's Park Rangers, poor delivery, and if they continue in that way, they'll cause themselves real problems.
Graham Lasso with us here on 5 Live, former Blackburn, Chelsea, Southampton and England defender. You'll have played here, Graham, many times in games a little bit like this, the atmosphere and how it is at this ground.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We played here many occasions, both for Chelsea and Blackburn, Queen's Park Rangers rely on their fans, they rely on the tightness of the ground, and they haven't got an excuse on a pitch like this to get in teams' faces, to really use the environment to put their opponents under pressure. It's not a big pitch, so they should be able to deny, on this occasion, Manchester United space, but it's all about their work ethic and working together as a team, not as individuals.
It is Burton 1, Exeter 0, both of those clubs in the playoff positions in League 2 currently. Manchester United clearing the ball away through Ferdinand, just punts it long downfield and out of play for a throw into QPR. Should just point out as well that for QPR, before that defeat at Swansea, there were 1 or 2 signs of recovery. They had been on a run before that, having gone 5 league games without a defeat, and had conceded only 1 goal in that time. And the last 3 matches here, the first 3 league games, have ended as 0-0 draws. QPR with the ball on the right, but Bosingor is going to allow that to run out of play for a goal kick. Leyton Orient 0, Crawley 1. It's Colchester 0, Tranmere 1. And Oldham are winning 1-0 against poor old Portsmouth. Oldham 1, Portsmouth 0. Oldham will feature in our commentary match on Tuesday night, the FA Cup replay at Goodison Park against Everton. You'll hear that here on 5 Live on Tuesday night. And London derby as well on Monday between West Ham and Tottenham in the Premier League. Commentary on that on Monday night on 5 Live. Right, round our featured games in the Championship. Once we see what happens to QPR, they're just playing the ball back into their own half, and it goes all the way back towards Samba, who will play it long towards Zamora, who chests it off towards Tarap. Tarap turns against Carrick. Tarap now driving forward and shooting from distance, but wide by 5 yards or so. So it's back to Bolton, Hull City and Alistair Yeomans.
Bolton 3, Hull City 0. The goals after 2, 5 and 8 minutes from Pratley, Mark Davis, and as we thought, Craig Dawson. A blitzkrieg start from Bolton, and at this stage, John, I'm not sure we'll be having our regular amiable chats with Steve Bruce in the tunnel after the game.
Thank you, Alistair. No sports report today, but we'll bring you all the reaction during the course of what remains of 5 Live Sport. The commentary from 5 o'clock from Twickenham on England-France. Coventry winning 1-0 against Crewe. Coventry 1, Crewe 0. Here's Young for Manchester United, plays it in. Glancing header from Hernandez, and Julio Cesar leaps high to push it over the crossbar. I would call that a regulation save, but he made it look rather spectacular.
Yeah, he was. I think he got caught a little bit flat-footed, Julio Cesar, because it came off Hernandez, the back of his head. He had some loop and dip on it, and it was a very fine reaction save in the end.
So a corner for Manchester United, just over a quarter an hour play, and the corner to be taken by Van Persie, who swings it in left-footed, and it's headed away by Traore, who leapt high for Queen's Park Rangers to get it away towards the halfway line. Right, it's to Hillsborough next in the N-Power Championship, and Peter Slater.
Slightly fewer goals than they've had at Bolton, 3 fewer in fact. Goalless between Sheffield Wednesday and Crystal Palace after 10 minutes. Palace without Wilfried Zaha this afternoon, he's injured, and Wednesday unbeaten in 6, shading it so far. Buxton and Prutton firing over the bar, but it's Wednesday 0, Palace 0.
Right to Bloomfield Road for the first time since kick-off, and Gary Flintoff.
No goals here, John, but I have to say Paul Ince is really looking the part on the far side of the pitch, like he's never been away, hands in pockets, prowling the technical area. He wouldn't have been too happy with the first 5 minutes or so. Leicester very much on top, but Blackpool now with a foothold in the game. It's Blackpool 0, Leicester 0.
And Jackie Oatley's at Vicarage Road watching third place Watford and Derby.
Indeed, it's Watford 0, Derby 0. A high-tempo start to the game, an informed Watford with a couple of early chances, 2 in quick succession. Alex Hayhoe firing wide from 20 yards with a goal gaping. That after Matty Vidra had forced a save from Legstins. And Marco Cassetti with a shot saved by Legstins as well. And up the other end, 1 chance for Derby. Jamie Ward firing wide from 20 yards after outmuscling Ekstrand. Watford 0, Derby 0.
And in League One, we're watching the managerless leaders, Swindon, Steve May.
Well, it's 0-0 here, but we very nearly had a goal for the new acting joint player manager Tommy Miller. Header from 12 yards out from Williams Cross on the right-hand side. He got the full leverage on it, but was well saved by Declan Rudd, palming it away for a corner. It's Swindon 0, Preston 0.
Thank you, Steve. It was Steve Graham who was asking Arsene Wenger all of those questions yesterday that were reported during the course of yesterday and this morning about how he won't consider leaving for a single second. I think he'd recovered, hadn't he, Arsene Wenger, after that rather strange press conference the other day.
Yeah, he managed a few jokes as well, didn't he? I think he offered somebody a one-on-one, and I would bet that he would probably take on most journalists in a one-on-one situation.
Yes, I think so. I think he knew that he needed a little bit of recovery work after Tuesday. It's Hearts 0, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 1. Manchester United coming forward, but the cross in from the left-hand side from Young, right-footed, far too close to Julio Cesar. Gary Warren with the goal for Inverness, who are 1-0 up at Hearts. Another update from Andy Gillis coming, but Manchester United with the ball into the middle and a stretch for it from Hernandez, but made no sort of contact, and the ball is across into the full-back position where it is guided out of play, he said, rising to his feet to see where the ball is for a throw into Queen's Park Rangers. It is half-time in Rome, Andy Gillis.
And it's Italy 6, Wales 9. 3 penalties for Wales from Lee Halfpenny, 2 from Burton for Italy. Halfpenny missed one just before half-time, which would have extended the Welsh advantage. In difficult conditions, it's not a great game, lots of mistakes. Italy 6, Wales 9.
And we can hear about that Inverness goal from Ian Turner.
Yeah, we've played 18 minutes now, John, and Inverness still lead 1-0. It was a good goal from an Inverness point of view, terrible from Hearts. It was a simple free kick out near the corner flag, swung in. Gary Warren was there, just about the penalty spot, downward header, past the keeper. Hearts 0, Inverness 1.
And Crewe have equalised against Coventry. It's Coventry 1, Crewe 1 in League One. Crewe, who will be playing Southend in the Johnstone Spate Trophy final at Wembley. Big final at Wembley tomorrow, which I think everyone's looking forward to. You'll hear it on 5 Live. Here's Traore down the left-hand side, but pulls the cross into the area, and Giggs is there. Traore absolutely furious with himself for not being able to find a teammate in blue and white. And it is Manchester United with Giggs, who are on the counter-attack now. Giggs placed it forward, and Hernandez was some distance offside, correct?
Yeah, he was. I mean, that's Ryan Giggs at his best there. He intercepted the ball at the edge of his own box. 2 passes later, he's driving forward from the halfway line. The only mistake he made, dare I criticise the great Ryan Giggs, is that he held on to the ball a little bit too long, and Hernandez had made his run, a lot earlier and was caught offside.
Bristol City have taken the lead against Barnsley. Bristol City, bottom of the table this morning. John Stead putting them in front. And it's Bournemouth 0, Sheffield United 1 in one of the big games at the top of the table in League One today. So Bournemouth 0, Sheffield United 1, and Scunthorpe 0, Hartlepool 1. Hartlepool, who've been hinting at a recovery, second from bottom of League One, 1-0 up at Scunthorpe, who are themselves in trouble. It is 0-0 between QPR and Manchester United, and Rangers with Tarat, it bounces away. Granero will try a shot, but under pressure from Vidic, hit it wildly high and wide. So let's get another update from Dave Woods, who's watching Bradford and St Helens in the Super League.
Well, we've got 60 minutes left to play. Bradford 4, St Helens 26. So Bradford on the board. Brett Carney, the scorer, the only try of this second half. But Saints still look comfortable. Bradford 4, St Helens 26.
There's much more on Bradford tomorrow. Bradford City against Swansea City at Wembley in the 4 o'clock kickoff. Oh, as Samba, under no pressure whatsoever, suggesting he didn't get a shout from anyone. Although Clint Hill, I think, is suggesting that he did do that.
Well, he had 20 metres of space around him. He should have had a look before he decided to clear it. It was a fortunate clearance.
Now the ball out of play for... in fact, it's a free kick for a shove by Zamora on Vidic, which has enraged the supporters in the lower tier, and indeed the upper tier of the stand that we're in here, and it's a free kick to Manchester United. Shrewsbury 0, Stevenage 1. Another update from Jonathan Ledyard at Arsenal.
Still Arsenal leading by a 1-0 against Aston Villa. We're just reaching the midway point of this first half. Arsenal took that lead, but Villa since then have come at them, and Arsenal tended just to sit back. Good chances, Agbonlahor twice very close, and Weimann getting away. Good purchase down the Aston Villa right. This is not an easy time for Arsenal. They lead though by a 1-0.
And more from Jonathan Overend at the Medeski Stadium in a moment, because Giggs is bringing it forward towards Van Persie on the edge of the area. Van Persie on the right now, trying to find a way through. Van Persie crosses it, was actually pushed away by the goalkeeper. Then Raphael hits a shot that flies into the back of the Queen's Park Rangers net. Oh, what a brilliant strike that was! As clean as you'll ever see from Rafael da Silva. And he jumps and punches the air. Fantastic goal. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Manchester United 1.
What an absolutely magnificent strike. Just distract from that slightly. I think Robin Van Persie has been bundled into the side of the hoardings, and he's lying down, looks in a lot of pain.
Yeah, this is highly significant. Van Persie, who initially there crossed it from the dead ball line on the right-hand side. Not sure whether a defender has slid into him or whether Van Persie himself, at pace, has slid into the hoardings. But Robin Van Persie is down, he is prone, he's on his side, and he's receiving treatment from the Manchester United medical people. And well, we'll just have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, it was his momentum took him off the pitch, and he collided into a cameraman or into the side of the advertising hoardings. But let's just go back to that goal. What a strike. He had no right, Raphael, to hit that ball first time. The ball was bouncing towards him. at pace. He was under pressure because he had to nip in front of, I think it was Taarabt or Traore, and my goodness, he hit it so cleanly. It drove straight with no bend at all into the top right-hand corner. Julio Cesar, who's in magnificent form, had absolutely no chance.
Well, one Brazilian beats another with that, and it was a fantastic strike. And Van Persie is now, I'm pleased to say, back on his feet, and he is being walked around the far side of the field, which suggests to me that he'll be coming back onto the field, as he's not being brought back to this side, the dressing room side of the ground. I'm pleased with Ngudi there, Jonathan O'Brien.
Yes, excellent production decision, Mr. Murray. I was just saying that 0-0 here, by the way. A lot of stress, a lot of agitation down by the touchline with Messrs McDermott and Martinez down there, both in the relegation zone, of course. And they need a little bit of quality here, I think, because there isn't much to show for that in the final thirds. A lot of hard work in midfield, but Jimmy Kebe, his best touches have come for Reading. One good chance a moment ago, but still 0-0.
Van Persie's back on the field for Manchester United, but he's clearly got a problem here. He got a first touch of the ball, and as soon as he made contact with it, he pulled up. Well, this is a real concern for United with the Real Madrid game coming up, the second leg, the week after next. Well, Van Persie is still on the field, and obviously Sir Alex Ferguson is concerned about this. He's there with René Mullenstein on the edge of the area as Giggs comes across, plays it over, but it's chested back by Traore to the goalkeeper. Manchester United with the goal, they're 1-0 up, Graham Lassau, but Van Persie is obviously the chief concern just now.
Yeah, he's just feeling his way back into it. He obviously shook him up a bit. He's holding his hip, so obviously he got made some contact there. But I think it'll be all right. Obviously, the Manchester United bench will be keeping an eye on it. They've only got Wayne Rooney on the bench if they need to bring him on.
Here is Van Persie. Let's just keep an eye on him. He's in possession, plays it back towards Young on the halfway line. He is still moving rather gingerly. Let's head to Kempton. John Hunt can give us the latest from there.
And the first winner of the day for trainer Nicky Henderson at last for him. Forgotten Voice has just won the Dovecote Novices Hurdle in great style, and Henderson and Nichols again dominating today's card here at Kempton. Both have 2 runners apiece in the feature race at half-time, John, the Racing Plus Chase.
Yeah, we'll hear commentary on that round about 3:50, so i.e. it'll be at half-time in the 3 o'clock games, and we'll bring you live here on 5 Live. Brighton, who had that great win in the week, are 1-0 up on Burnley. Lopez, the scorer for Gus Poyet's side, and with Middlesbrough kicking off at 5:20, Brighton could be back in the top 6 at tea time if they win that match. QPR 0, Manchester United 1. Still watching Van Persie, who plays it now towards Hernandez, but QPR nick it back. So Manchester United in front here. Manchester United, who have won 38 out of the last 42 points available to them. That is title-winning form. Here is Zamora, starting a match for the first time since October. Bobby Zamora, he has got this ongoing hip problem. Now with Bosingwa on the right-hand side, Bosingwa's ball into the box, Vidic deals with it, side foots it away, and it comes back to Queen's Park Rangers. I think everyone here, certainly the Manchester United supporters, still tingling after that Raphael goal. From an angle, well, it would be more than 25 yards, I would suspect, as it's swung in, the ball by Granero into the area, aiming for Zamora. Ferdinand put the challenge in. Here's the goal scorer, Raphael, who's fouled by Mackie. No, he's not. No free kick given, but Mackie then shoots wildly and high into the supporters in the lower tier of the school end. More from Graham Lassau in a moment here at Loftus Road, where Manchester United are winning 1-0. But Dave Woods has more news for us from Bradford St Helens.
Bradford 4, St Helens 32. Johnny Lomax has just got his hat-trick try for St Helens. There's 10 minutes left to play here, but a lot of the Bradford Bulls fans, I think, are starting their M1 journey early. They're off. It's Bradford 4, St Helens 32.
Now, we've just seen a replay here of what happened to Van Persie, and after that cross that was pushed out by Julio Cesar, he sort of backpedaled it away, and I think tripped over that cameraman who's in a pit behind the goal, which now you look at that,
it's like a steeplechase, isn't it?
Now you look at that cameraman, he's what, probably 4 or 5 yards off the pitch in a hole.
Yeah, incredibly dangerous when you see how well we've spoken about how tight this pitch is already, and you've got a pit that must be 3 foot deep that he's standing in, unless he's a very small man. But fortunately, Robin van Persie seems to be recovering. Manchester United really getting into their flow.
Hernandez crossing from the right-hand side, but over both Van Persie and Young. Oh, that's a poor clearance by Bosingwa, and that's given it to Young. Young himself, a little lackadaisically, tried to flick it back into the area, and then in comes the challenge from Mackie, and the ball bounces out of play for a corner to Manchester United. Came off Mackie last.
Now this is a test for QPR in terms of their character, their team. Can they raise their game now? The odds are stacked against them. Very easy to look at each other and start blaming. Can they pull together and actually put together maybe a string of passes and create some chances?
Van Persie has actually come across here to the it's the Brains Trust, the Manchester United Brains Trust. There are 4 of them there, just to have a chat with him and see how he's feeling. Has a drink, and then Van Persie sprints away to take a position in the penalty area for this corner. It's going to be taken by Young, drives it deep over everyone in the 6-yard box and through, and bounces out of play just next to where that cameraman is in his pit. It's almost like a bear pit, isn't it? And Van Persie backpedaled straight into it. Well, they sometimes do talk about a bear pit atmosphere, don't they? Well, not only we've got the atmosphere, but we've got the bear pit as well.
I think Van Persie's onto the side of the pitch, maybe getting some medicine or of some sort, maybe a painkiller. Just seen him take something with a drink.
Manchester United just threatened to come forward there, but it broke down for them, and Samba plays it forward. Queen's Park Rangers record signing has been well documented, forward towards Zamora, but it comes off Ferdinand and bounces through to De Gea. Burton Albion are now 2-0 up on Exeter. It's Torquay 0, Port Vale 1 in League 2. Torquay, of course, now under the interim management of Alan Neil, and we really should send our best wishes to Martin Ling, who is going to be out of the picture until certainly the end of the season because he's not well, so all the very best to him. But Torquay 1-0 down to Port Vale, and Colchester have equalised against Tranmere. It's 1-1 there. QPR 0, Manchester United 1 in the Premier League. Let's head round all of our featured matches again now. Arsenal, Aston Villa first, and Jonathan Ledgard.
They're looking good, Arsenal, now, just improving a little bit. A few moments ago, Theo Walcott set up by Diaby and curled the ball just past Guzan's post, but Villa still dangerous on the break. Weimann, Benteke and Nzogbia will need to be watched closely by Messrs Mertesacker and Vermaelen. 1-0 Arsenal.
And more on the relegation tussle between Reading and Wigan from Jonathan Overend.
Where it's still 0-0, but Reading really are getting more and more on top of this match. All their good work is coming from Kebe down the right-hand side, and his cross a few moments ago was heading towards Pogrebniak and in all likelihood towards the net as well, when Paul Scharner got in with an excellent last-ditch challenge. Reading 0, Wigan 0.
Russell Fuller has the latest on Norwich Everton.
It is still 0-0, John, which may not surprise us if it's still the score at full time. Norwich have had 3 goalless draws in their last 5 in the Premier League, both sides giving the ball away more easily than their managers would wish after a bright start, during which Snodgrass nearly scored for Norwich and Jelavic for Everton. 0-0.
And how are things with West Brom and Sunderland, Pat Murphy?
0-0, could be 1-1 though. Fletcher took deliberate aim, hit the outside of the post. Foster saved from Graham in the ensuing brouhaha, and then Fletcher over the bar, ending that moment. And then at the other end, how did Malumbu miss? Free header, 6 yards out. He cheeked it wide. West Brom 0, Sunderland 0.
So the Championship in a moment, but here come QPR with Townsend, who weaves his way infield and then shoots wildly from 30 yards, trying to do a Raphael and getting nowhere near it. It landed in the top tier.
He's sharp, Townsend. I mean, good play to sort of close control, but then he's 25-30 yards out, and looking to shoot from there is bizarre when you've got players that maybe you could bounce the ball off and actually attempt to get a little bit closer. The problem for Queen's Park Rangers is now it's as if they've got one game plan. That's using Mackie and Zamora. They've only maybe played long balls twice, even though I'm sure that's what Harry has asked them to do from the beginning of the game. And they look out like they're out there by themselves as individuals.
Here come QPR though, 1-0 down. Tarab, he shoots from 25 yards, and Mackie's absolutely furious with him here. Tarab wanted to go it alone, and Mackie, if he'd been able to slip him through, would have been one-on-one with De Gea.
A little bit of patience, you take a view of what's going on around you and make a decision based on that. Tarab there, as Andros Townsend did just a couple of minutes ago, You know, as soon as they've got the ball, they've decided they're going to shoot before they've even seen what the picture is evolving in front of them. And this is where Queen's Park Rangers, it's frustrating for players that make good runs for them. They don't receive the ball. Next time they won't make the run. And then Manchester United don't have to worry about anything.
What was this about? The referee, before the goal kick was taken, just gathered together Carrick and Ferdinand and Giggs. Anyway, more on that in a moment, because to the Hawthorns a penalty, Pat Murphy.
To West Brom, referee Roger East judged that Ridgewell's cross was handball from Craig Gardner. I'm not sure that Gardner could get out of the way. They're not happy, Sunderland, but here comes Lukaku, who'll take it left-footed against Mignolet. It's 0-0. It could well be 1-0 in a mo. Here comes Lukaku. It is 1-0. Mignolet went the wrong way. Bit of a soft penalty. Sunderland unhappy. West Brom 1, Sunderland 0.
Shrewsbury have equalised against Stevenage. It's 1-1. And Accrington Stanley, second bottom of the league this morning, are 1-0 down at home to Cheltenham. Corner to QPR. Granero, deep one, aiming for Samba, who heads it down, and it's cleared off the line by Raphael, who is standing next to the post. No great power on it from the Samba header. It was a regulation clearance from the man on the post, and Raphael just volleyed it away.
Yeah, Queen's Park Rangers' first chance. A decent delivery at last there by Granero. Floated in, so it was always going to be hard to get power on it.
Ball played into Van Persie, who steers it goalwards, and Julio Cesar makes the save. Fantastic cross from the right-hand side from the goal scorer, Raphael. Brilliantly played, right onto the left foot of Van Persie. I have to say, Graham, I thought we were going to see another Van Persie special there, but he tried to steer it, and Julio Cesar leapt down to his left and pushed it wide.
And that was quality, the highest level there from Raphael, with the delivery, the weight and accuracy of the pass, Van Persie's movement and timing of his run, and a fantastic save by Cesar there.
So exciting, it knocked all the air out of my lungs. Corner to Manchester United on the right. Van Persie is going to take it. I think he's okay, Van Persie. Here it comes, Vidic with a header, but Samba got there first to just nod it away from the Manchester United captain. And then QPR had it further away. QPR 0, Manchester United 1. Second half underway in Rome, and there's been a try, Andy Gillis.
That has first try of the match comes to Wales. It came out of absolutely nothing. Little kick ahead that the Italian defenders didn't deal with, and Jonathan Davis running on, touchdown just to the right-hand side of the uprights, and I suspect that Lee Halfpenny should be able to put this kick over, which would extend the advantage further. It's 14-6 at the moment to Wales. Halfpenny's conversion to follow. And just to mention, for those of you who might not yet have been aware of this, Andrew Cotter, our colleague, commentated today for BBC Television, taken on well during the course of the first half with a nasty bout of food poisoning. He is okay if you're worried about him, and they're continuing now with commentary with alternative commentators on BBC Television.
Okay, thanks, Andy. I'm pleased to hear that Andrew's going to be okay. And Queen's Park Rangers in possession with the ball just outside the Manchester United box. Here's Bosingwa on the right-hand side. Bosingwa towards Townsend, who's crossed into the area, is hooked away by the right leg of Vidic. Samba rather awkwardly bringing the ball forward, then gives it to the left-hand side to Tarabt. Quick feet from him, deep cross, aiming for Mackie, headed away by Vidic, played back across. Vidic stretches forward over the top of Mackie and heads it down, and Manchester United get it away. I must say, Graham Rousseau, that again, a little bit like the Everton match, Manchester United's last league game, that Vidic and Ferdinand have very much got a look of a commanding pair about them here today.
Yeah, they marshal that defence, whether it's quick players running at them and trying to turn them, or taller players receiving aerial balls. They deal with it very well. Very disciplined performance, and that feeds through the team.
QPR 0, Manchester United 1, and Rangers take a throw on the halfway line. Here is Mbia in centre field, out towards the left-hand side, towards Traore. Traore now to Tarabt. Tarabt, and the goal scorer, Raphael, just comes and closes him down. Still manages to get a pass forward towards Townsend. And Townsend, with his left foot, gives it to Bosingwa. It's now Italy 6, Wales 16, by the way. The conversion went over for Wales. Granero now carrying it forward towards the edge of the Manchester United box, given to the left-hand side towards Traore, who's stretching for it, overruns, and Carrick comes across and blocks it out of play for a throw on the far side. There's been a goal at Vicarage Road, Jackie Oatley.
And it's a goal for Watford. 1-0 they lead Derby. It had been coming. Matej Vydra with a low left-footed shot just inside the post. Came back off the post and nestled inside the far corner. His third chance of the game. Watford fully deserving the lead. It's Watford 1, Derby 0.
And there's been a first goal of the game at Carroll Road. Russell Fuller.
It's come in the 40th minute and it's gone to the away side Everton. Leon Osman's 6th goal of the season, an angled header after a cross from the left by Leighton Baines, and Everton, after Grant Holt had nearly given Norwich the lead here at Carrow Road by a goal to 0.
Burton now 3-0 up on Exeter. Ross County winning 1-0 against Motherwell. Ivan Sproul, who's in good goal-scoring form at the moment. Manchester United winning here by a goal to 0. That wonderful goal from Raphael. I was pleased, by the way, Graham, before the game that I said to you, with Dimitar Berbatov's excellent winning goal for Fulham earlier, that would be the goal of the month, because Raphael's was pretty special.
I think Raphael's has just surpassed that, if I'm honest.
Do you think so?
Well, I just thought it was such a difficult strike technically to make. He was under so much pressure because he intercepted the ball. He got in front of, I think it was Taarabt he got in front of before he hit it. It was just amazing. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Berbatov's goal, but I thought Raphael's there was something else.
Hernandez has been fouled by Hill out on the right-hand side, so it's a throw into Manchester United. But before they take this free kick, that's it for Van Persie today. 40 minutes on the clock. They're not going to take any risk with Van Persie, and you can understand why, as I say, with that home game against Real Madrid, what, a week on Tuesday?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there. I think this is a risk management situation. Welbeck on the bench, Wayne Rooney on the bench. There's absolutely no point in the way Manchester, as well as Manchester United, playing at the moment to take any further risk with Robin Van Persie.
So Welbeck comes on for him. Hartlepool now 2-0 up at Scunthorpe. Free kick on the right-hand side for United. Giggs to take it. Giggs standing off the field. One or two choice words, I suggest, coming from a Rangers supporter in the stand. Here it comes. Giggs and Vidic with a header. Stretching for it. Wonderfully well, Vidic, I would say. They even get his head to that ball.
He got some amazing amount of height as the ball was driven in. Quality cross by Ryan Giggs in swinging corner. And Vidic seemed to leap over the covering centre-back and get his head onto it. Couldn't quite direct it into the far corner, but another dangerous effort for Manchester United, who are in total dominance at the moment.
Yeah, 1-0 up. Raphael's brilliantly struck goal. You really need to say that on Match of the Day tonight. 10:20 it is, by the way. 10:20 start for Match of the Day tonight, or 7:35 in the morning on BBC One if you prefer. Dave Woods has more from Bradford St Helens.
The final score, Bradford 10, St Helens 36. Easily St Helens' best performance of their fledgling season. 7 tries, 3 of them scored by Johnny Lomax. Bradford better in the second half, but woeful in defence in the first. Bradford 10, St Helens 36.
Dave was talking about Bradford City supporters perhaps getting away early for Wembley tomorrow. I must say, I was driving down the M1 yesterday, and 12:30 I saw a number of Bradford City cars with the claret and amber flags out of the window, so clearly they were going to make a weekend of it, and why not?
It's an occasion none of them want to miss.
Carlisle 0, MK Dons 1. In the Championship, Birmingham are 1-0 up at Peterborough. Nikola Zigic, another player who's come back in from the cold, like Basingwa here. Bristol City now 2-0 up on Barnsley. Liam Fontaine. And Charlton are down to 10 men in their game, which is at home to Nottingham Forest. So Charlton down to 10 men because Kermorgant has been sent off, Jan Kermorgant. Manchester United with a throw, halfway inside the QPR half. United 1-0 up on BBC 5 Live. Here's Evra now. Evra challenged by Townsend. It was quite a heavy challenge, but no free kick. Evra stays down. Townsend's away with the ball. Evra's still down on the ground. Townsend now halfway inside the United half. Gives it to Taarabt. Oh, that's well played by Taarabt into the space on the left-hand side for Traore. Traore's cross into the area. Half-headed away by Ferdinand. And then further away by Giggs. But only out to Mbia, who shoots. But Giggs charges it down and blocked it almost at source. Evra is still down, but QPR are not putting this ball out of play. Neither do they have to, incidentally. And then Anthony Taylor decides to stop play so that Evra can get some treatment with the ball on the halfway line.
So difficult for a referee in that situation. He couldn't blow up whilst Queen's Park Rangers had the ball, but Manchester United intercepted it. Danny Welbeck was flying, creating a 2v1 situation, at which point the referee decides to blow his whistle and allow Patrice Evra to be treated. Tough decision for the referee to make, but I feel the right one in the situation.
So Evra receives treatment and straight to Reading because there's been a goal, Jonathan Overend.
Wigan take the lead at Reading with just 2 minutes to go before the interval, and they really had pressed in the last 5 minutes or so, coming forward at every opportunity, plenty of men forward, almost playing 4 up at times, Wigan, in these final few minutes, and it was a really scrappy goal from a left-wing corner, but they'll celebrate it nonetheless. Headed home by Figueroa, the left back. Reading 0, Wigan 1.
If the results go their way, Wigan could move out of the bottom 3 today. Back to Andy Gillis in Rome.
Italy have 3 points back, and they deserve it because they almost scored a try and they've missed a drop goal as well, but Burton's landed a penalty. It's 16-9 to Wales, who now have a penalty of their own. It's quite a long distance, but Lee Halfpenny will go for goal. Italy 9, Wales 16.
Accrington have equalised against Cheltenham. It's 1-1. And Aldershot now under the management of Andy Scott, his first game in charge. Aldershot have scored and are 1-0 up on Fleetwood. And Kilmarnock have equalised against Aberdeen. It's 1-1. Paul Heffernan, the scorer. And also Tranmere, 2-1 up at Colchester now. Well, Evra has received treatment. There was a little bit of discussion over how play would restart, which didn't seem to please one or two of the Manchester United players. And I think the QPR supporters are unhappy in the first place that Anthony Taylor had stopped play because Evra was only down with what was a leg injury, and he's now okay and he's quickly back on the field.
I think he got caught in the face with Basingwa's boot, and it's difficult for a referee because he allowed QPR to keep going. They were in possession, kept going, and it was actually Manchester United who suffered at the fate of the whistle there because they had a fantastic counter-attacking opportunity.
We're playing 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. This is BBC 5 Live. Manchester United leading through a spectacular goal from Rafael in the 24th minute. Vidic with the ball near his corner flag. That penalty went over from Halfpenny, and it's now 19-9 to Wales in Rome, in the Olympic Stadium. Be interesting to hear what the attendance is there today, because it's rarely full for Roma or Lazio games, and they had a terrific attendance, I noticed, for the first game that they played there. Here's Welbeck, the substitute, but the ball was out of play, and he may well move in field with it, but it's a throw-in. And now another goal at Reading, Jonathan Overend.
Another goal for Wigan. They deserve it as well, the way they've really pressed in the last few minutes this half. It was almost as if Reading were waiting for those cups of teas back in the dressing room. But it's Kone, who could have been credited with the first, who has definitely been credited with the second. Reading completely going to sleep. Cool finish from the Ivory Coast striker. And is this the day when the Wigan survival starts yet again? Reading 0, Wigan 2.
Yeah, it was round about this time last season, wasn't it? What was it? 7 wins from the last 9 games or something like that took Wigan to safety. Nani to Welbeck. Hernandez, well, might have been held off there by Hill inside the penalty area. Hernandez went down. Hernandez protests. No penalty. QPR coming forward. Zamora has pulled up. I'm not sure he's going to be able to continue. And then the half-time whistle goes, and Bobby Zamora clearly mentioned the fact that he's got this hip problem, is really uncomfortable there.
He twisted his ankle, challenged with Patrice Evra. Evra came out better. Zamora now hobbling off with an ankle injury. He doesn't look as mobile as you'd expect, but I think that goes back to this historic hip injury that he's carrying. But Queen's Park Rangers this is an awfully big half-time team talk for Harry Redknapp and his team.
Yeah, it is, because Manchester United are leading. That wonderfully struck goal from Rafael in the 24th minute, a couple of other chances as well. Van Persie having to be substituted after 40 minutes, Welbeck coming on for him. We'll find out all about that later. I suspect that it is just a precaution. But at half-time here at Loftus Road, QPR 0, Manchester United 1.
Thank you very much indeed. That's John Murray and Graham Lasseau at Loftus Road for us here at Twickenham. It's trying to snow again, and we've got kick-off, an hour and 12 minutes away. You can probably hear them The choir's warming up behind us. England against France from 5. Right, around all the football starting at the Emirates, Jonathan Ledyard.
Arsenal 1, Villa 0. Perfect start for Arsene Wenger's punch-drunk players, ahead after just 6 minutes. Santi Cazorla driving past Guzan from 18 yards. Wilshere had been through moments before. Is this going to be the day when Arsenal take charge? Answer no, because instead of pressing, Arsenal sat back. They've been gifting possession and Villa have really worried them. Weinmann given far too much space down the left-hand side. Monreal absolutely nowhere. Vermaelen and his defenders grateful to Szczesny for 2 fine saves. Walcott's curled a shot past the post. Giroud has been prominent. It's better, but it's still not the best. Villa not out of it. Arsenal 1, Villa 0.
Let's go to Carrow Road then. Russell Fuller, Norwich Everton.
Even game, but Everton in front at half-time thanks to Leon Osman's 39th minute goal. An angled header from Leighton Baines, cross from the left, just 3 minutes after Grant Holt had the best chance of the match so far from 12 yards out. He almost got his foot stuck under the ball and failed to get the necessary power to beat Tim Howard. It was a very bright start. Snodgrass nearly scoring for Norwich and Jelavic for Everton inside the first 8 minutes, but after that the side's giving the ball away too often, and Norwich's problem in the second 45 minutes is going to be scoring a goal. They've scored only once in 495 minutes of Premier League football. They need to prove to Chris Hughton that 3 days intensive warm weather training in Abu Dhabi was worth it. They trail Everton by a goal to 0 at the break.
Dramatic finish of the half at the Medeski. Jonathan Overend.
Yes, amazing final couple of minutes of the first half here as Wigan take a 2-0 lead, almost completely out of the blue, against Reading, who had dominated most of that first 43 minutes until confusion in the Reading penalty area. It was a left wing corner taken by Beausejour. Header from Caldwell, that wasn't cleared. Header from Figueroa, just got a little deflection off Kone and in. I think they'll be fighting to see who claims that. No doubt about the second one moments later then, when dozy Reading defending allowed Beausejour to feed through Kone in the inside right position, and there he was again with a very cool finish, chipping it over Federici. Dramatic stuff right at the end of the half. Wigan lead at Reading by 2-0.
And to the Hawthorns, West Brom and Sunderland, Pat Murphy.
It's West Brom 1, Sunderland 0. On balance of play, Sunderland, West Brom deserve it. A penalty from Lukaku, but that was debatable. Gardner, handball, could he not avoid the cross from Ridgewell? Then, just for half-time, Macaulay, he stopped the shot from Johnson with his hand. I would have thought if the penalty one end, should have been at the other. And in the first minute, did Fletcher's header sneak in over the line via Foss and the post? TV replays inconclusive. Fletcher has also hit the post 10 minutes later. West Brom 1, Sunderland 0.
Let's go to Sheffield Wednesday, Crystal Palace as we dip into the Championship, and Peter Slater.
Goalless here, Mark. Not much between these two. Palace missing Wilfried Zaha. They haven't created a clear chance. Wednesday with Mikel Antonio prominent, have at least forced a save from Julian Speroni. That was Leroy Lita's header, and Connor Wickham's hit the side netting. Probably the best moment, David Prutton colliding with the referee Tony Bates, who saw it as a fair tackle and didn't book either himself or the Sheffield Wednesday midfielder. It's goalless at Hillsborough.
Let's go to the Reebok, Bolton and Hull City, then Alistair Yeomans.
Yes, 3 goals in the first 8 minutes by Bolton have probably killed off this game. Darren Pratley with a stooping header, Mark Davis with a shot from the edge of the penalty area, and then Craig Dawson a glancing header from a corner. The goals, it could have been worse for Hull City. Marvin Soldell hit the post with a snap shot. Very little from the second place team, and they'll be looking over their shoulders at what's happening at Watford. Half-time is Bolton 3, Hull City 0.
And Blackpool Leicester City next, Gary Flintoff.
No goals in the match, marred really by the state of the pitch. Chances at a premium, but the one moment of football symmetry, if you like to report, Kasper Schmeichel, son of, denying Tom Ince, son of, with quick reflexes at the edge of the penalty area. And Schmeichel, to his credit, went on to save the follow-up from Neil Eardley. Leicester, though, have looked threatening, it has to be said, from a number of set pieces. Haven't really turned those set pieces into real clear-cut opportunities. So deadlock at the Seaside. It's Blackpool 0, Leicester 0.
So what about Vicarage Road, Jackie Oatley?
The half-time whistle's just gone. It's Watford 1, Derby 0. Watford are a joy to watch. Their pacey, precise attacking play, creating several chances. Just the one, though, finished off by Matej Vidra. He's the young Czech striker who scored his 20th goal of the season on loan from Udinese, in off the post from the edge of the box. And he and Cassetti had forced fine saves from Legstins, while Hayhoe and Abdi missed glorious chances. Almunia, the goalkeeper's gone off injured, and his replacement, Jonathan Bond, has saved well from Bryson just before the break. Watford 1, Derby 0.
Elsewhere in the Empower Championship, Blackburn 0, Leeds 0. All these half-times now. Brighton 1, Burnley 0, Bristol City 2, Barnsley 0. And then Charlton 0, Nottingham Forest 0, Huddersfield 0, Ipswich 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Crystal Palace 0, and Peterborough 0, Birmingham 1 complete the Championship half-times. Middlesbrough Millwall kicks off at 5:20. League 1, Bournemouth 0, Sheffield United 1, Brentford 0, Walsall 0, Carlisle 0, MK Dons 1, Colchester 1, Tranmere 2, Coventry 1, Crewe 1, Doncaster 1, Yeovil 1, Leyton Orient 0, Crawley 1, Oldham 1, Portsmouth 0, Scunthorpe 0, Hartlepool 2, Shrewsbury 1, Stevenage 1, and Steve May is watching Swindon Preston.
Yes, 0-0 here. We thought that Tommy Miller had scored on his acting managerial debut early on when he got a full header on Williams' cross from the byline, but Rudd turned it away absolutely brilliantly. Swindon, the busier of the two sides. Gary Roberts' direct free kick was well negotiated by Rudd, and when Keane miskicked to Williams inside the box, Williams' shot went by the far post. No sign of Paolo Di Canio here today. We thought he might turn up as a fan, apart, that is, from a massive black and white photo I saw at the top of some stairs that I came up. It's 0-0.
Looks like Wales Renaissance gathers pace. Andy Gillies in Rome.
It's Italy 9, Wales 24. A key moment of the match, I think, because Martin Castrogiovanni, first of all, the Italian captain, has been yellow carded, sent to the sin bin after persistent infringement at the scrum, and within a couple of minutes the Welsh score their try. They lay siege to the Italian line, and a great breakthrough from Alex Cuthbert, touching down in the corner, gives Wales the lead by 24 points to 9, with Halfpenny's conversion to follow, and he's been kicking superbly today. Italy 9, Wales 24, and Italy down to 14.
It's live on 5 Live Sports Extra and on BBC One. Back to the football. League 2 half-times. Accrington 1, Cheltenham 1, Aldershot 1, Fleetwood 0, Barnet 0, Rochdale 0, Burton 3, Exeter 0, Chesterfield 0, Gillingham 0, Dagenham 0, Wimbledon 0, Morecambe 1, Bristol Rovers 0, Morecambe 0, Plymouth 0, Oxford 0, York 0, Torquay 0, Port Vale 1, and Wickham 1, Southend 0. You're up to date with all the half-times then. In the professional leagues in England. The Blue Square Bet Conference Premier half-times. Cambridge 0, Hereford 1, Kidderminster 2, Alfreton 1, Lincoln 0, Barrow 0, Luton 1, Mansfield 2, Newport 0, Telford 0, Southport 0, Woking 1, and Tamworth 0, Hyde 0. Scottish Premier League half-times. Kilmarnock 1, Aberdeen 1, Ross County 1, Motherwell 0, St Johnstone 0, St Mirren 0, and at Tynecastle, Hearts and Inverness, Ian Turner.
Hearts 0, Inverness 1, another tight encounter between these two. The last one in the League Cup had to be settled by penalties, and this one's a pretty scrappy affair. Gary Warren's downward header from a Doran free kick gave Inverness the lead in 15 minutes, and Owen Tudor-Jones was inches away from doubling the Thistle advantage, but his 25-yard free kick went just the wrong side of the post. Hearts have huffed and puffed but rarely threatened. Hearts 0, Inverness 1.
Bruce Scottish Second Division. Alloa 0, Arbroath 1, Ayr 1, Forfar 0, Brecon East 5 postponed, Queen of the South 1, Albion 0, Stranraer 1, Stenhousemuir 1, and in the third division, that's the second division. The first division, Cowdenbeath 0, Wraith 0, Dumbarton 0, Falkirk 2, Dunfermline 0, Morton 1, Hamilton, Livingston and Partick Airdrie both goalless. And third division, Berwick 1, Rangers 3, a result from lunchtime. Half-time, East Stirling 1, Elgin 1, Montrose 4, Annan 0, Peterhead 0, Queen's Park 1, and Stirling 2, Clyde 0. Wales kicked that conversion, Italy 9, Wales 26. 18 minutes to go there, and it's live on Sports Extra as we go to Arizona, the World Match Play Golf, and Ian Carter.
All 8 last 16 matches out on the course, and Ian Poulter off to a good start. A birdie at the third means that he's one up against South Africa's Tim Clark. In the all-Irish battle, the early initiative goes to Shane Lowry with a birdie at the second. He's one up on Graham McDowell. And in the big match involving the defending champion Hunter Mahan against Martin Kaymer, it's all square after one.
England won the one-day series with a 5-wicket win in Auckland earlier. Rugby half-times in the Aviva Premiership. Exeter 19, London Welsh 9, Northampton 11, Bath 6, Italy 9, Wales 26 in Rome with 17 minutes to go. England-France here on 5 Live Sport in an hour's time. And John Hunt 4 miles down the road at Kempton.
Yeah, and the closing stages here of the Racing Plus chase, turning for home here, Mark, and there's a group of 7 that have gone clear. Not in that 7 is favourite Wick Hill, who's run disappointingly. Neither Nakarat, who is bidding to bow out with a victory here. He's won it twice before, but not today. He's tailed off at the business end. 3 to jump. Ruby Walsh now produces rolling aces to take up the running from opening batsman and Quins. Duke of Lucker's coming there strongly ahead of Roberta Goldback, and then Hector's Choice. Same difference is next at the second last. Rolling aces, holds the aces at the moment, goes on now by a length, chased by opening batsman. Quins has run a stormer just in behind him. Duke of Lucker is next, heading to the final fence. Rolling aces with opening batsman who won't go away. The 2 of them in the air together, they'll fight out the finish on the run-in. Opening batsman is now proving too strong, and opening batsman goes on. A famous victory here for young Harry Fry, the trainer, and Noel Feely, the winning jockey. It's opening batsman from Rolling Aces, Duke of Lucca and Quins.
Thank you very much indeed, John. More reaction to come with that. It's 1:04. Back to Loftus Road in a second. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Manchester United 1 at half-time. Here's Suzanne Chislett with the news.
On digital radio, digital TV, mobile and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live. The Chancellor, George Osborne, says Britain's economic credibility is intact despite losing its AAA credit rating. The agency Moody's has downgraded the status because it expects growth to remain sluggish for the next few years. The head teacher of a British teenager who died during a skiing trip in the Italian Alps has paid tribute to an absolutely lovely student. 13-year-old Poonam Batala, who was from Slough, fell 16 feet from a chairlift in Clavier yesterday. The father of Oscar Pistorius' girlfriend has warned the athlete he'll have to live with his conscience if he's lying about how he killed her. Barry Steenkamp was speaking a day after the sprinter was released on bail ahead of his trial for Reva's shooting. Horsemeat has been detected in 6 tons of mince in Italy. The authorities there have also seized 2,500 packets labelled lasagna bolognese from a company near Bologna. And a former footballer has resigned from his role at the anti-racism body Kick It Out after he admitted using discriminatory language. Paul Elliott, a former Chelsea and Aston Villa player, was also a member of the FA's judicial panel. He says he regrets using the term.
On Sunday, you can hear full commentary.
And Bradford of League Two are into the final!
When Bradford play Swansea at Wembley Stadium.
And Swansea City have done it! They've beaten the European champions to reach a major cup final!
We've been underdogs all the way through. We're not fazed by that.
It's something unbelievable to be a part of. This club is going places.
Then have your say on 606.
The League Cup final.
How's your nerves, Bradford City fans?
Sunday from 4 on 5 Live Sport.
Kick-off an hour away here at Twickenham. The teams are warming up, and a short while ago I spoke to England head coach Stuart Lancaster and asked him what sort of French team he was expecting to face.
Pretty good one, I think. You know, when you look at the quality of players that they picked, 500 World Cups, and a side that beat Australia, that beat us, really. So, you know, we were expecting a tough game this afternoon, no doubt.
It looks like they've got all their best players in the right positions for this one, particularly at half-back. You would anticipate quite a tough afternoon.
Yeah, I think so, and I think also in the centre as well with, you know, Bastro and Fofana, you know, they're a quality centre partnership as well as half-back. So, you know, I think across the park we recognise their scrum's strong, their line-up's been going very well. We've just got to make sure we bring our game to the party.
I know you won't be, but people will be maybe just thinking if England can win this, Italy and so forth, and the Grand Slam tilt, you've got to deal with a level of expectation now.
Yeah, you've got to go one game at a time and one step at a time in every game. And, you know, we think the start's going to be important in this game. In the first 20 minutes, I think, critical. And then leading up to half-time, we want to make sure we continue, you know, that consistency. And as you say, second half, last 20 minutes will hopefully be ours.
Is 5 o'clock a little bit annoying? You've got to wait all day. Time drags a bit, doesn't it?
It does when you're a coach. I think the players are used to it, but no. You know, you get used to it. And I think in terms of the atmosphere in the stadium, just as dark setting in, the lights will come on. People have been in the car parks for a few hours, so they'll be ready for the game by 5.
They will be just on an hour away from kick-off and full commentary here on 5 Live Sport. Wales should have done enough in Rome, Andy Gillies.
I'm sure they have. Italy 9, Wales 26, 13 minutes to play. That try from Cuthbert coming at a crucial point with Castro Giovanni consigned to the sin bin. He was very upset at the decision, but to be fair to Romain Poit, he had said all along that if the infringing carried on at the scrum, then somebody would go, and it was Castro Giovanni who played the price, and Cuthbert crossed for the try. Italy 9, Wales 26.
And starting prices, the Racing Plus chase at Kempton, John Hunt.
Opening batsman, the 12-1 winner, beating in second place Rolling Aces at 4-1. Third was Duke of Lucca at 10-1. The favourite, unplaced, Wick Hill, the 3-1 market leader.
And Graham Nassau and John Murray with the second half from QPR, Manchester United.
Yes, just underway here. QPR 0, Manchester United 1. A goal from Raphael round about midway through the first half that you really must see. I think I heard you mutter, Graham, at half-time, possibly even goal of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen a few replays of it now, and it seems to get better and better. The angle that he struck it from, quite an acute angle on the right-hand side of the pitch.
Young playing it forward for Hernandez. Hernandez gives it to left-hand side with the cross from Evra that doesn't find Welbeck, who was the target at the back post, and QPR are able to get it away.
Yeah, that shows how quickly Manchester United break. We're mid-conversation and they go and do that to us.
But a really fine goal. QPR have made a change at half-time, but if you were listening at the end of the first half, it isn't for Bobby Zamora, who limped off at the break, but has come out for the second half. In fact, it's Genus coming on for Granero in midfield. No further news on Robin van Persie, who went off 5 minutes before half-time. No word has yet come up from down below, although there have been a couple of suggestions that he may have not been feeling well, but I think it is more to do with the tumble that he took in the build-up to the Manchester United goal, when he seemed to stumble into the TV cameraman's pit just behind the dead ball line. Might have hurt a wrist, possibly, or a hip. We'll find out afterwards, you would hope. Manchester United winning 1-0. Flick header from Nani towards Julio Cesar, who gathers it at the second attempt, with Giggs looking to snaffle one at close range.
That really isn't something QPR should be suffering, is the height they've got in their defensive sort of area. They should be able to deal with anything Manchester United throw in, but their position is they're taking a very deep position, quite negative in the way they're playing when they haven't got the ball, so they're just sort of trying to protect their goal, and in doing so they're almost making themselves more vulnerable.
So bottom of the table, Queen's Park Rangers, QPR, who were 4 points adrift at the bottom of the table this morning, 1-0 down against Manchester United, who, if they win, will be 15 points clear at the top tonight. Here is Welbeck, who came on for Van Persie, to Hernandez now on the right-hand side. United felt that they might have had a penalty as well, incidentally, at the end of the first half, when Hill put in that challenge on Hernandez. Sir Alex Ferguson was clearly complaining about something to referee Anthony Taylor as the teams went off at the break. He has Evra now on the left-hand side. I think he struggled to keep that in, and he did, in fact, because the assistant has flagged, and it's a goal kick to QPR. 1-0 Manchester United lead, and Bristol Rovers have equalised at Morecambe in League 2. Morecambe 1, Bristol Rovers 1. So the teams now, QPR with Julio Cesar in goal, Bosingwa, Samba, Hill and Traore, the back four. If you're a QPR fan and you weren't listening earlier, yes, Bosingwa at right back, Genus and Bia and Townsend, Mackie, Tarabt and Zamora, the QPR side. The United team, after we've come back from Reading, Jonathan Overend.
Well, Wigan lead 3-0 now, and if Reading were dozy at the end of the first half, they're fast asleep right now, because Wigan have just sliced through them here in the first couple of minutes of the second period. Figueroa has scored here, and it was a wonderful 1-2 on the edge of the box with Di Santo, but it was all too easy in the end. Nicely taken, but Reading a shambles right now. Reading 0, Wigan 3.
Remember, before Christmas, didn't Wigan win 3-0 at Aston Villa, another of their relegation rivals? So another, sounds like an important day for Wigan. QPR coming forward. The ball played towards the edge of the area. Vidic got there first ahead of Zamora, who went down a heap inside the penalty area. Vidic just calmly headed it away. The crowd here, Loftus Road, 18,337, which includes 3,081 away fans. And I must say, walking down South Africa Road, Graham, before the game, I was here about midday, it was a combination of football tourists and ticket touts. I don't think I've ever seen so many ticket touts at QPR. At least I assume that's what they were.
Well, seeing, coming down to watch their team play in the form they're in at the moment, I'm not surprised there are lots of people trying to do business around, getting in and out of the game. There's absolutely riveting watching Manchester United playing this season, and the guy on the ball at the moment, Michael Carrick, really making things tick in the beginning of this second half.
Yeah, he started all but 2 games in the Premier League for Manchester United this season. Michael Carrick, a really important player in this United title charge. 1-0 United lead. Into the Championship to Blackpool and Gary Flintoff.
It remains 0-0, John, but Leicester should be in front. Harry Kane brought down by Alex Baptiste and Neil Eardley. Chris Wood it was who took responsibility, struck it true enough, but off the crossbar and behind for a goal kick. Blackpool 0, Leicester 0.
QPR coming forward. We're going to Swindon in a moment, but here's Traore, rather laboured step-overs against Nani, who knows a thing or two about step-overs, and he dispossesses him, and Manchester United have it back. So here's Steve May watching Swindon and Preston.
Yeah, bit of a surprise here. The lead is Swindon 0, Preston North End 1. Will Hayhurst's first goal of the season. Jack King setting him up, and it's Swindon Town 0, Preston 1.
And welcome to listeners to the BBC's World Service, who join us here at Loftus Road with the score of QPR 0, Manchester United 1. But QPR, while we were listening to Steve May, wasted a really good opportunity. Townsend wasn't able to put the ball through that might have led to a clear chance and goal. But Manchester United now with Young, who shoots from 25 yards. It's blocked. Comes out to Nani, who's been quiet in the game. Scored against Reading on Monday night in the Cup, of course. Nani now to Hernandez, who curls one goalwards, but it's straight into the chest of Julio Cesar, who catches. So, Graham, you can sum things up for the benefit of anyone who's just joined us and the World Service.
Yeah, well, the last couple of moments there, Andros Townsend had a really good chance, and this is the problem that comes with youth and inexperience, is that you often make the wrong decisions in vital areas, and there he should have pulled the trigger and had a shot, but he tried to thread a very difficult ball through to Zamora. And as soon as they give the ball away, Manchester United spring on them. They're happy to play little triangles, Manchester United, but also if the opportunity is on to hit it longer and play 2v2 and try and get it the Queen's Park Rangers back too, they'll do that as soon as they can.
Manchester United winning 1-0. Manchester City playing tomorrow against Chelsea. Here's Townsend down the right, who crosses it in towards Ferdinand, who falls and heads it away. Ferdinand and Vidic, for those who weren't listening earlier, have been excellent today. QPR's best chance, the header from Samba that was cleared off the line by Raphael, the goal scorer, who was standing with one hand on the post, volleyed the ball clear. I'll be interested, Graham, to see, I'm sure that somebody somewhere will put a speed camera or whatever they do to find out what the miles per hour was on that Raphael goal, because the replay suggested it absolutely flew past Julio Cesar into the net.
Well, looking at his position, he'd already dived to intercept the Van Persie effort, and then the power of the shot, he hardly moved, and as we said, the ball travelled maybe 25, 30 yards, and not to move suggests that the ball was travelling at some rate of knots.
Yes, Julio Cesar looked, well, discombobulated in the least.
And can a ball travel at a rate of knots? I don't know.
Good question, and I know you like that sort of thing. Here's Giggs on the halfway line. Giggs pulls the ball back and then gives it away, rather un-Giggs-like, passes it straight to Busingwa, who's appeared almost as if from nowhere. Rob, our producer, was telling us before the game that there is an advertising hoarding near the ground here, I think on the A40 you said, didn't you, Rob, that suggested it was a bookmakers, a betting company. It was a direct message to Jose Busingwa, which was, you're not doing anything at the moment, Jose Busingwa. How about a bet on X, Y, Z, or whatever it happened to be? Well, he's back involved today. We looked up, didn't we, as well, some great quotes from Harry Redknapp about the initial incident where Busingwa allegedly refused to sit on the bench for the game here against Fulham. Really summed up the whole situation very, very well. I would suggest you have a little look back on the internet and see exactly what Harry Redknapp said. I'll be fascinated to hear what he says after the game about the decision to bring him back.
Exactly, and I mean, he's a good player, obviously a Chelsea player, for a couple of seasons, very talented, very quick, powerful going forward, but clearly, his attitude has left something to be desired in recent months.
It's Chesterfield 0, Gillingham 1, the League Two leaders in front at Chesterfield. And another goal in the Hearts Inverness game, Ian Turner.
11 minutes gone, Hearts have equalised. Hearts 1, Inverness 1. A belter of a goal it was too from Jason Holt. There seemed to be little on when he picked the ball up about 22 yards out. Inverness defence stood off. He made his way into the box, blasted it into the back of the net. Hearts 1, Inverness 1.
Manchester United coming forward. A ball played in from the left-hand side from Young, but too close to Julio Cesar, who's able to take it. 5 Live in the World Service. QPR 0, Manchester United 1. Once the Italy-Wales game is finished on 5 Live Sports Extra, with Wales comfortably in charge in that match, they'll then switch on Sports Extra to Belarus and Minsk for commentary on the World Track Cycling. There's a big final not far away, and Alistair Bruce Ball is there in Minsk.
We've just seen Jason Kenny lose in the first race of his quarter-final in the men's sprint against New Zealand's Sam Webster. That's the best of 3, so Kenny's got to win the next 2. But as you say, very soon we'll see Becky James going for gold in the women's sprint as she tries to take Victoria Pendleton's crown as the world champion, and I guess as the new queen of British sprint cycling. Well, maybe not queen, maybe the princess. It's all coming up over on 5 Live Sports Extra.
Thank you, Ali. So you'll hear that on Sports Extras. Free kick to Manchester United here, who are 1-0 up. St Johnstone winning 1-0 against St Mirren. Rowan Vine, the scorer there. So United with this free kick that Giggs is the leading candidate to take. On his left foot, Vidic strolls forward from the back and takes up a position in the area. Giggs with a free kick, aiming for Vidic, but it's over the top of him. Samba did well, actually, to put Vidic off, and it's through for a goal kick to QPR. Manchester United winning 1-0. Back to Reading, Wigan. Jonathan Overend.
Reading's day has just got a lot worse. They're 3-0 down to Wigan, and Pavel Pogrebniak, their striker, who often plays as a lone striker, of course, has just been sent off. It looked innocuous at the time. It looked like a trip inside the centre circle on Figueroa, but looking back with the benefit of the match of the day pictures, it's a really nasty stamp down on the left ankle of Figueroa, who scored the 3rd Wigan goal, and I think Phil Dowd has got that absolutely right. Reading 0, Wigan 3, Reading down to 10 men.
Commentary on England-France in the Six Nations to come here on 5 Live from 5 o'clock. We're going to go around all of our featured matches in a moment, but Manchester United coming forward with Evra, whose cross is blocked by Townsend, and Manchester United played all the way back to De Gea in the end to our left. And Barnsley now 3-0 down at Bristol City, so Bristol City, bottom this morning, could move off the bottom of the table. 3-0 up on Barnsley, and John Stead scored his 2nd goal of the game. So let's go to Arsenal, Aston Villa, and Jonathan Ledger.
11 minutes into the second half, John. Arsenal lead Villa still by that goal to 0. Cazorla after 6 minutes, but it should really be 2. A horrible, horrible miss by Giroud. Lovely build-up play. Wilshere, Diaby, Cazorla. Giroud, left foot, had to score wide. Still 1-0, just got a corner though.
Everton were winning at Norwich. Last we heard from Russell Fuller.
And Everton still lead by Leon Osman's 39th minute goal to 0, John. It was an unchallenged first half. Had plenty of huff and puff from Norwich in this second half, but little sign that they're going to blow Everton's house down. Kay Kamara, the Sierra Leone international, has just come on for Luciano Becchio, and he's put an overhead kick just now straight into the hands of Tim Howard. So Everton leading by a goal to 0.
Manchester United leading by a goal to 0 here. Loic Remy is going to come on for QPR very shortly, making his return from injury. Rangers coming forward, ball played in towards Mackie, bounces off him, and then Carrick with a challenge on the edge of the area on Tarab. The ball had bounced past him into the penalty area, and Carrick, well, there was certainly contact there on Tarab just outside the box. Question was whether the ball had gone, Graham, I think.
A tangle of legs between Tarab and Carrick there. And I think the referee gave Michael Carrick the benefit of the doubt because the ball was bouncing around, the legs were tangled, and it wasn't a blatant trip, so gave Manchester United the benefit of the doubt. Bobby Zamora is really struggling. I mean, he didn't look fit from the start of the game, as we've discussed, this hip problem that he's carrying. He then twisted his ankle. He's now walking very gingerly, and wouldn't be surprised if he isn't the next person to come off.
Yeah, Remy waiting to come back on, making his return from this groin injury that he's had. Still a narrow lead that Manchester United have got here by a goal to 0. And last we heard from Pat Murphy, West Brom had a narrow lead over Sunderland.
Still have it, courtesy of Lukaku's penalty, but 2 close shaves for them. Settignon knocked on a corner, which was lost by Foster. Off the line, Malumbu, then Colback across. Graham stretching, couldn't quite control it. It's West Brom 1, Sunderland 0.
To the Championship in a moment, but United playing it forward towards Hernandez, but Samba does his job and hooks it away, right-footed. Billy Davis as Nottingham Forest are winning again. They're 1-0 up at Charlton, who are down to 10 men after Kermorgant was sent off in the first half. It's Wycombe 1, Southend 1. Southend equalising. Go to Bolton in a moment, who were winning handsomely last we heard, but Ashley Young gives it away on the edge of the area, so we'll bring in Alistair Yeomans from the Reebok Stadium now.
Second place Hull trying to undo the damage of those early goals from Bolton. Alex Bruce has just had a glancing header from a free kick go just over the bar, but it remains Bolton 3, Hull City 0.
And to Jackie Oatley at Watford,
where it's still Watford 1, Derby 0, thanks to Vidra's 20th of the season in the first half. Watford very impressive the way they passed the ball at pace, but a little less pacey at the start of the second half. Derby having a real go, forced into a substitution with Buxton coming on for the injured Hoganson, and Bryson's had a shot blocked by Chalabar for Derby. Watford 1, Derby 0.
And still waiting for a goal at Hillsborough, Peter Slater.
Yes, although Crystal Palace has started the second half much better. Stephen Dobbie with a shot parried at the near post by Chris Kirkland, and then Dickon Choi just wide of the post with a good drive, but it remains Sheffield Wednesday 0, Crystal Palace 0.
Thank you, Peter. Loic Remy is on, as you suggested, Graham. Bobby Zamora can go on no longer, so Zamora is off, and Remy is on for his third appearance for QPR. And here comes Rooney, with half an hour to play to take the place of Hernandez, Graham.
Yeah, obviously he's recovered from this sinus problem that he's been talking about, or has been spoken about in the papers. And I think Manchester United will look in the next 20 minutes to try and consolidate their lead and go for a second goal, because QPR at some point you'll feel will throw everything at this game to try and get an equaliser. A point for them is absolutely vital in these last 12 games.
To Tynecastle, Ian Turner.
Well, it's taken Inverness only 6 minutes to restore their lead. Top scorer Billy Mackay with his 22nd of the season. A free kick midway inside the Hearts half, swung to the back post, nodded back across. Mackay from close range. Hearts 1, Inverness 2. 18 minutes of the second half gone.
The other latest scores in the Clydesdale Bank Premier League: Kilmarnock 1, Aberdeen 1, Ross County 1, Motherwell 0, St Johnstone 1, St Mirren 0. And if you didn't hear it earlier, Rangers won 3-1 at Berwick in the third division and are now 25 points clear at the top of the table. So should Manchester United go 15 points clear at the top of the Premier League, well, they've got nothing on Rangers in the Scottish third division at the moment. I think they might hang on to that, Graham. I don't know about you.
I think you're right. I have to say, Ashley Young has had a fantastic game today. He's been involved in a lot of creativity down that left-hand side, cutting in with his right foot, linking play up. I think he's been a real work ethic as well has been excellent. He's been a real example today.
Frustration from the home fans there because a Tarabt pass went astray. Mackie wasn't able to keep it in, but QPR have got it back. Here's Tarabt again, beats Evra on the right-hand side, into the box, shoots from an angle, straight into the back of Vidic. And Mackie, I think Mackie's just about at the end of his tether with Tarabt to throw into QPR on the right. Full-time whistle's gone in Rome. Andy Gillis.
Wales' hopes of a Six Nations title very much alive. Italy 9, Wales 26. Tries from Cuthbert and Halfpenny. 16 points in the boot of, Cuthbert and Davis. 16 points in the boot of Lee Halfpenny. All Italy's points coming from Burton's boot. And the attendance between 50 and 60,000 at the Stadio Olimpico. Italy 9, Wales 26.
Well, it'll be, round about 80,000, won't there, at Twickenham, not too far away from here, for the 5 o'clock kickoff, which you'll hear here on 5 Live between England and France, with Matt Dawson alongside Ian Robertson and Alistair Eakin. Now it is Remy for QPR onto his right foot inside the box, hits the shot, but De Gea goes down to his right and makes the save. His first save of the day.
At last, something definitive for the QPR fans to cheer about. Loic Remy looked sharp, he cut inside 2 players, hit it very low, and David De Gea made an excellent save given the crowd of players in his way.
QPR corner, here it is, chipped in right across the goal. Samba with a header. I think he might have been fouling Vidic, but no matter, it's behind for a goal kick in any case.
And once again, Manchester United there showing their resilience in the air. I mean, Christopher Samba's an absolute monster, isn't he, in terms of his height, and Vidic, knowing that he's not going to win the ball, but throwing everything at him to put him off getting a clean header.
Yes, he might have cost a great deal of money, Samba, but they got plenty for their money, didn't they? Yeah. In terms of acreage.
Per pound.
Acreage. Bristol City 4-0 up on Barnsley now. Lewin Nyatanga with the 4th goal for City. Just got a stoppage here at the moment because why? Vidic has coming to this side of the field. Oh, he's got some blood on his nose. QPR obviously want Manchester United to get on with the game, and it's a goal kick that De Gea is taking some time over.
Absolutely, they don't want to lose Nemanja Vidic for more than they have to, so tactic of the goalkeeper, slow the game down, try and get him off and on the pitch as quickly as possible, and in fact Vidic is back on already.
Yeah, Barnsley have got a goal back at Bristol City, but the bottom side this morning winning by 4-1. Chris O'Grady the scorer for Barnsley. Should David Flitcroft, the manager there, will be asked the question of whether that FA Cup quarter-final has perhaps taken their eye off the ball in the league, which they can't afford to do. Throw into QPR halfway inside their own half. Got 25 minutes to play, 5 live in the World Service. Manchester United 1-0 up. Let's get an update from Steve May at the County Ground, Swindon.
Well, the lead is Swindon still losing here to Preston by a goal to nil, and we've got about 1,200 Preston fans down to my left-hand side looking very happy about the situation. Will Hayhoe scored the goal, but I think he was given an awful lot of time by the Swindon defence to trigger his goal. It's Swindon 0, Preston 1.
Yeah, with Simon Grayson now in charge at Preston. Burton Albion 4-0 up on Exeter now. Traore very nearly caught out here by Manchester United, a little fortunate to get away with it. Lack of concentration as much as anything. Here is Townsend now down the left-hand side for QPR, taking on Raphael, but then slicing it at pace, just off balance into the lower tier of the stand to our left.
Yeah, he was there. He was a little bit isolated, Townsend. He only had one option, that was to try and go down the outside of Raphael, who's been in fine form defensively as well as when he goes forward. But at least Queen's Park Rangers, they've upped the tempo. They're playing a little bit more sort of aggressively, a little bit more confidence in what is obviously quite a nervous atmosphere here at Loftus Road.
QPR 0, Manchester United 1 remains the score, and United with Ferdinand, who just allows the ball to run out of play. Ferdinand and Vidic. It's been vintage Ferdinand and Vidic. Johnny Evans on the substitutes bench today, but he will not be used because Valencia is now coming on as the third United change and taking the place of Ashley Young, who will be roundly booed off, as you hear, because of that dive in the game between the sides last season. But you feel he's done well today?
I think Ashley Young's had a very good game. He's worked hard, as he always does, but on the ball, his passing, his crossing has been excellent, his link-up play. I think he can go into the United dressing room very satisfied with his performance.
So Nani is over on the left-hand side now. He has been quiet, Nani, hasn't he? Or is that just my imagination?
No, he has. He's had limited sort of service. And Manchester United, uncharacteristically, they haven't had long periods of possession. And that denies maybe the wide men, the chance really to get into the game for long periods of time. So, these wide men start searching for the ball. As I've said, Ashley Young has had a good game. He's maybe had more possession, and that in turn has maybe denied Nani the sort of possession that we normally see him having.
It's been another goal at Arsenal, Jonathan Ledgard.
And it's gone to the away team. Villa, who'd sunk into the bottom three as a result of Wigan's run. It's now Andreas Weimann who's just accepted the plaudits from the Villa fans. A slight mistake in a sense by Szczesny. It seemed to go through him. He may have seen it late. But Arsenal have been pressing their best period of the game, even for allowing when they took the lead, and suddenly they're rocked on their heels, and now it's a real test. Final 22 minutes, Arsenal 1, Villa 1.
QPR trailing here. The bottom four are all playing at 3 o'clock today, but Wigan obviously winning heavily at Reading, and Aston Villa now 1-1 at Arsenal. I can just imagine the atmosphere at the Emirates after that. Nottingham Forest now 2-0 up at Charlton, who are playing with 10 men. Henry Lansbury and Accrington have come from a goal down and are now 2-1 up on Cheltenham in League 2. Accrington 2, Cheltenham 1. Tranmere now 3-1 up at Colchester 2. Tranmere coming into today down in 6th place in League 1. 1-0 to Manchester United, 5 live in the World Service. Here is Tarat, and now it's all the way back from Mbia into his own half. Mbia drops deep. He's found a pair of gloves from somewhere, Mbia, I notice.
If you just look at how Manchester United, how hard they're working to close the ball down, and that's infectious, and it means that when they win the ball, they're already advancing, they're already in positions to start attacking.
Here is Welbeck now, who's received it from Carrick. Hill puts in the challenge, and it bounces out of play just inside the Manchester United half for a throw-in that Raphael will take. The curly-haired Raphael. I loved his celebration as well when we saw it at half-time. You know, such exuberance really from the young man, curly-haired. He stuck his thumb in his mouth. I presume he's got a little one. And
that always sucks his thumb.
Yes, nothing wrong with that. And it's a free kick to Manchester United, 10 yards inside the QPR half. Well, I think the dental profession will probably take exception with that. Free kick that United are looking to take. Ferdinand just taps it short to that man, Raphael. Now here's Valencia. Valencia to Raphael, heads it down into his own path, then lifts the ball towards the far post, but there's no one there. It drifts through for a goal kick. And Ross County now 2-0 up on Motherwell. Richard Britton, the second goal for Ross County. So QPR 0, Manchester United 1. England against France to come from 5 o'clock here on 5 Live. And then 6:06 incidentally after everything's over at Twickenham with Mark Chapman and Robbie Savage tonight. And then 5 Live Sport tomorrow from Wembley with commentary on the Capital One Cup final and also Scotland against Ireland, which starts at 2 o'clock. So that is the main entertainment for you on 5 Live tomorrow. Lots of build-up as well in Sports Week, which is with Jonathan Ledyard in the morning, incidentally, from 8:30. Lots of build-up to the Capital One Cup final. I know that the Bradford goalkeeper Matt Duke is among his guests, who has got a really good story behind him as well that you'll hear with Jonathan in the morning. So QPR 0, Manchester United 1. And it's the United supporters at the moment who are buoyant. It's been another goal in the Bolton Hull City game, Alistair Yeomans.
And a glimmer of hope for Hull City. Robbie Brady, a free kick. As a great save by Stockdale in the Hull City goal to keep them in it. Robbie Brady, free kick. Took a slight deflection, I think, John, off the wall. But it is now Bolton 3, Hull City 1.
QPR are going to make their final change. It's going to be another player returning from injury, Junior Hoylett. Chris Sandback, down in the right back position, has just larruped the ball out of the ground.
That's what they bought him for.
Yeah, that's what is it? It's somewhere between 70 and 80,000 pounds a week gets you. He just hoisted it out of the ground. And the Manchester United supporters really are buoyant. They're all standing up, every single one of them. They're waving their flags and in a mood of celebration. Throwing for United, but the change is made first, and Junior Hoylett comes on. You'll have to tell me who he went off for.
Andros Townsend came off, right. And like for like, really. Junior Hoylett, you know, good pacey wide man as well. You know, they've got to find a way of breaking down this very resilient Manchester United defence.
More from Ian Turner at Hearts.
2-2 now, Hearts 2, Inverness 2. Andy Webster, a shot from 20 yards, took a wicked deflection, sending the keeper the wrong way. 6 of the last 8 fixtures between these two have ended in draws. This one's heading the same way, 2-2.
Manchester United played forward from Valencia, but Traore will allow it to roll out of play. So while we can, we'll get a couple of updates from Carrow Road and the Hawthorns. Russell Fuller first. Russell?
Norwich look like they will have no wins in 10 after today, and it'll be a home defeat the way things are going, because they still trail to Everton by 1-0, although Kay Camara, the substitute, did have a good chance 10 minutes ago, heading about 1 foot wide from Wes Hoolahan's cross, leaving Norwich so desperately shy of Premier League goals, frustrated and trailing Everton 1-0.
And to Pat Murphy at the Hawthorns.
Well, Sunderland now chasing this game. They're 1-0 down. They're leaving themselves vulnerable to the counter-attack. Twice Mignolet has made good saves from Lukaku, who got the only goal from the penalty spot after half an hour. It's West Brom 1, Sunderland 0.
Another goal at Bolton, Alistair Yeomans.
And a man on loan from West Brom, Craig Dawson, has scored his second goal of the game for Bolton to snuff out that hope for Hull City. In off the post, it's Bolton 4, Hull City 1.
Still just, in inverted commas, 1-0 to Manchester United here against the bottom club QPR. United with Evra, who just heads the ball on ahead of himself but out of play for a throw-in to QPR, level with the edge of their own penalty area. Bristol City have hit 5. So bottom of the table, but 5-1 up on Barnsley now. Stephen Davis with that 5th goal. And Burton now 4-1 up on Exeter City. Also Accrington Stanley 2, Cheltenham 2, equaliser for Cheltenham. So Manchester United in front. You'll hear news of Manchester City against Chelsea tomorrow, the 1:30 kick-off on 5 Live. And by the way, the Wolves-Cardiff match tomorrow, 2 o'clock kickoff in the Championship. Cardiff, the leaders, is on Sports Extra tomorrow afternoon. But United with Rooney. Rooney plays it towards Giggs, and then Giggs to Rafael. Rafael to Valencia. Valencia is closed down by Traore. And Valencia still in possession, back into his own half. Actually just touches it to Carrick, who passes it forward to Giggs in the centre circle. That's a lovely touch from Giggs to Rooney. Rooney now towards Nani, stretches for it, got a little touch on it, but that means the ball has run down into the full-back position, the QPR right full-back area. Nani works it infield towards Evra. Evra into the box, pulls it back, it's left to Rooney. Rooney's shot is blocked by Hill, who just threw his leg in front of Wayne Rooney, and it had the desired effect, blocked it.
What a shame Manchester United couldn't score there. It started with Wayne Rooney, a fantastic little flick round the corner, then Ryan Giggs and Wayne Rooney combining for a 1-2. Just the composure, the quality, and they're so well synchronised, these Manchester United players. They instinctively know where each other is, and they just cut through teams. And it was a real shame there Wayne Rooney couldn't sort of make the finish on such a wonderful piece of possession.
Northampton 1, Plymouth 0 in League 2. And in League One, it's Swindon, Steve May.
Yes, an equaliser for Swindon. It's now 1-1. A mistake by Buchanan at the back, and there was substitute Adam Rooney given a free shot at goal, 5th of the season, and it's 1-1.
And to Vicarage Road, Jackie Oatley.
It's now Watford 2, Derby 0, an Abdi corner from the right-hand side, bundled in from close range by Joel Ekstrand. Slightly against the run of play. Derby have been much better in the second half. Watford 2, Derby 0.
And that could be Watford into second if the scores stay as they are. Back to Hearts, Inverness, Ian Turner.
12 minutes left, Hearts 2, Inverness 3 now. Hearts just can't hang on when they get back into it. Gary Warren, his second of the game. It was a simple corner, back post, powerful header into the corner. Hearts 2, Inverness 3.
Another goal at West Brom, Pat Murphy.
Another one for Lukaku, it's 2-0, and how the crowd enjoyed that. Titus Bramble gave it away. Left Mignolet short with a back pass. Mignolet came out, tried to kick it clear, hit it straight at Lukaku, in it went. West Brom 2, Sunderland 0.
1-0 to Manchester United, and we are now into the last 15 minutes of the 90 here at Loftus Road under grey skies, with Valencia moving forward for the red shirts of Manchester United. Here is Rooney, who had that chance to make it 2-0, but Hill putting in the block, and then a stray pass from Carrick in midfield, so Jamie Mackie over the halfway line. Now it's infield towards Genus, the half-time substitute. Breaks down for QPR. Rooney now forward towards Welbeck. He's all on his own, but Rooney quickly into the penalty area. Still Welbeck though, and in comes the sliding challenge from Genus, who almost appeared from nowhere to block the Welbeck shot come cross.
That's the second great interception by Jermaine Genus since he's been on. He intercepted one earlier in the game, and that was vital that he blocked Danny Welbeck's shot there.
Let's just get an update from Alistair Bruce Ball at the cycling in Belarus.
21-year-old Becky James has it all to do if she's going to win gold for Great Britain in the women's individual sprint final. She's lost the first race against Germany's Christina Vogel, lost it in a very tight photo finish on the line, only a millimetre between them, but she now has to win the next 2 races if she wants gold. If not, it's silver.
Thank you, Alistair Bruce Ball, who spent the week in Belarus. It sounds like he's got a sore throat, and he was telling me it was very, very cold there with snow on the ground. Who'd have thought it in Belarus in February? Here's Genus on the right-hand side. Genus for QPR. Manchester United 1-0 up. Scunthorpe have got a goal back against Hartlepool. Scunthorpe 1, Hartlepool 2 now. And Burton 4, Exeter 2. Another goal back for Exeter. QPR coming forward. Here's Mbia now, middle of the Manchester United half. Pulls it square to the left-hand side to Hoylett, Junior Hoylett. Now to the edge of the area. Remy turned. Tackle came in, heavy touch from Genus there, and that meant that Manchester United have nipped it back, and United are away on the counter-attack. It's Red Arrows time, but Rooney, with his misplaced pass, didn't find Welbeck. Welbeck trying to win it back, and he has done. Suggestion that he might have fouled Mbia there. But United, once again coming forward with Nani, through to Giggs. Giggs shoots from an angle into the net. Giggs makes it 2-0. Oh, cool celebration from Ryan Giggs. That should do it for the leaders. 15 points tonight, I think. QPR 0, Manchester United 2.
You only have to look at the Manchester United supporters behind that goal where Ryan Giggs has just scored to see how much that means to them. Fantastic finish by Ryan Giggs. Hint of offside, we have to look at the replay to see if it was. But again, good incisive build-up by Manchester United. And when they get their chance, they take it. Every time, whether it's a cross or a shot, the quality really shines through.
Well, the replay, Graham, shows
perfectly good run.
Good work, assistant referee. Called it absolutely correctly. I, like you, was just rising to my feet to see if the flag was raised, but it was not. He got it right, and that was an excellent clinical finish from an angle, left foot from Ryan Giggs for his 5th goal of the season. It's a second in the Premier League. He scored in the last league game, didn't he, against Everton, to continue his run of having scored league goals in every season as a professional. And here's Valencia now as United look for 3, and the cross comes over. And a scrambling interception descended over the top of his own crossbar.
Acrobatics by Mbia there to stop Wayne Rooney with what would have been a simple tap-in. But again, Manchester United, they go forward so quickly with so much confidence as well. They suddenly go from sort of, defending to having 4 or 5 players bursting forwards. Almost impossible for QPR to contain them now, and quite honestly can't see a way back.
2-0 Manchester United lead. We're going to go to Arsenal in a moment, but Manchester United have got a corner now. Giggs, who's just scored that goal, will take this left-footed to the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's headed away there for QPR. So here is Jonathan Ledgard at the Emirates.
1, Aston Villa 1. Just seen Podolski come on for Jenkinson. So a bold substitution by Wenger. They forced 10 corners. Brilliant save just a moment ago. One-handed by Guzan from Giroud header. But Arsenal still cannot find a way through. Villa worth at least a draw, 1-1.
Manchester United coming forward with Valencia on the right-hand side. Valencia now pulls the ball back. Giggs is there again, trying to chip it towards the back post. He's hit the bar. It comes out to Nani. Oh, wild shot from Nani. That wasted it. But if Giggs had scored there, goodness me, you'd have had to lift him shoulder high from Loftus Road today.
Oh, how audacious was that? The delicate nature of that touch by Ryan Giggs on his right foot, lifted it, curled it. I don't know, the professional in me would say that maybe he was looking to cross that to Wayne Rooney on the far post. I'll have to look at Ryan Giggs' face afterwards to see if that's actually what he meant. But I mean, if he did try that, you wouldn't put it past him. It was a fantastic effort.
2-0 to Manchester United. Back to Pat Murphy at the Hawthorns.
It's now 2-1 to West Brom. A lovely goal from Sessegnon for Sunderland. Amid all the mayhem in the penalty area, the ball pinging around like a Sabutio match. Time just froze from 10 yards out. Lob, coolly, lovely goal. It's West Brom 2, Sunderland 1.
Thank you, Pat. 2-0 to Manchester United. Incidentally, Chris Samba has now gone up front for QPR. Desperation stakes, I'd suggest. I must say, Graham, I did wonder where he was when Mbia cleared that last cross.
Yeah, Mbia's playing as a lone defender by looks of things. Harry Redknapp obviously didn't see Christopher Samba's clearance that left the stadium and has got enough faith in him to go and get QPR a goal back, but shows how desperate they are at the moment.
Coventry 1, Crewe 2 now. Coventry were ahead in that game. Dagenham and Redbridge 0, Wimbledon 1, and a goal at Carrow Road, Russell Fuller.
And it's been scored by Kai Kamara, the new signing on loan from Kansas City, the Sierra Leone international, with the header from the corner on the right. He leapt above the Everton defence and Tim Howard to give Norwich a lifeline. 5 minutes from full time. Norwich 1, Everton 1.
Birmingham are now 2-0 up at Peterborough. Chris Burke has scored for Lee Clark's side, so Peterborough 0, Birmingham 2, so Peterborough will go back to the bottom of the table with Bristol City winning handsomely against Barnsley. I'll run you through all of those latest scores in the npower Championship in just a second if I can. Manchester United winning 2-0 here, the Barclays Premier League leaders. They're going to be 15 points clear at the top, ahead of Manchester City with 11 games to play tonight. That looks fairly decisive to me. Here's Nani on the left-hand side. Nani cutting in field, gives it to Rooney. Rooney turned into trouble, turned into Tarabt, but managed to find Nani. This is all at close quarters. It's brilliant work. Well, back to Rooney, hit the shot, aiming for the top corner, but wide and high.
I suggest that Manchester United are enjoying their football at the moment, John. They're playing with so much freedom in the way they go forward. Decisive moment of this second half really must be the chance that Loic Remy hit, and a fantastic save from De Gea. I think that could have given Queen's Park Rangers a little bit of something to fight for. But at the moment, you know, Manchester United are dominating in every area of the pitch.
2-0 Manchester United lead. It's been a foul on Remy, so a stoppage here. But straight to Arsenal, Jonathan Ledyard.
Arsenal have a second goal. It's Santi Cazorla, just 4 minutes from time. They've had so many chances in the last few minutes. They've forced 11 corners, but from close range, Cazorla gets his second of the game, his 11th of the season. It's Arsenal 2, Villa 1.
So this is how it is on 5 Live and the World Service, with England against France to come here on 5 Live from 5 o'clock. In the Premier League, Arsenal winning 2-0 against 2-1 against Aston Villa. It's Norwich 1, Everton 1, West Brom 2, Sunderland 1. Fulham beat Stoke 1-0 earlier in our first commentary match of the weekend. At Reading, Jonathan Overend.
Still Reading 0, Wigan 3. Reading have been playing for much of this second half with only 10 men after Pogrebniak sending off, and it's been training ground stuff for Wigan, who've been stringing the passes together. They've been looking like scoring at virtually every opportunity. The Reading fans have been deserting the ground in their numbers, and it's Reading 0, Wigan 3.
Loic Remy is okay after receiving that bang. He's received treatment. He's now back on the field. Manchester United 2-0 up. And the other latest scores in the npower Championship, it is still Blackburn 0, Leeds 0. But there's been another goal at Hillsborough. First goal at Hillsborough, Peter Slater.
Yeah, first goal of the afternoon, John. It's gone to Sheffield Wednesday, 9 minutes from time. Leroy Leeds has scored it. Cross came in, he met it with his head, hit the underside of the crossbar on the way in, but it was powerful enough to beat Julian Speroni, and it's Sheffield Wednesday 1, Crystal Palace 0.
Bolton still 4-1 up on Hull. Still Blackpool 0, Leicester 0. Still Watford 2, Derby 1. And the other latest scores, Brighton 1-0 up on Burnley. Bristol City 5-2 up on Barnsley. Charlton 0, Nottingham Forest 2. Huddersfield 0, Ipswich 0. And Peterborough 0, Birmingham 2. But it's the Manchester United supporters you can hear at Loftus Road, as the ball is played back to Julio Cesar. He's made a couple of decent saves today, but Manchester United now relatively comfortable in this game. And Ryan Giggs scoring the second goal after Raphael hit the first in the first half, and hit it he did. United with it on the left-hand side. Nani looks for a run from Giggs. Nani plays it through to Giggs, who wasn't tracked. Giggs now back towards Welbeck, who controls. Welbeck trying to pull it back, trying to walk it into the net. And he was challenged and beaten by Mbia, and it's QPR who will bring it away through little Hoylett. And Hoylett up towards the emergency striker, Samba. Does well, actually, on the left wing, Samba. Towering over Raphael. Then a shot from Taraptis. Deflected into the penalty area, but Manchester United clear it, Graham Lassau.
Yeah, well played again by Manchester United. Good intricate football, and then freeing Ryan Giggs again with one of his fantastically timed runs. I don't think Sir Alex Ferguson will be very happy with Danny Welbeck. He had at least 2 touches to get a shot away, and he tried to overcomplicate things. And that's a bad decision making there. He'll probably get a bit of an ear burning from Sir Alex for that, because he sets these very high standards.
Incidentally, I've been told by someone who's presumably got an abacus that this is Ryan Giggs' 999th game for Manchester United, Wales, Great Britain. So 999th game. It extends his record appearances for Manchester United. 932nd match for United, but another goal, and the legend just goes on, really.
Yeah, I mean, and to think, I saw his name on the team sheet, central midfield this afternoon, and thought, how's he going to handle 90 minutes? He looks as sprightly now as he did in the first 5 minutes, with the goal, with the runs that he's making, and his influence throughout the team. Leads by example. So all of these sort of players, they set positive examples to their teammates. And then it becomes infectious. Everybody, when you feel tired, you see somebody like Ryan Giggs make a forward run, you think, well, I need to make another run. I need to close that ball down. So it's all about sort of positive, role models on the pitch.
Yeah, and in his 40th year, we'll be talking about him long after he, you, I, and everyone else here is gone. QPR with a free kick on the left-hand side. We're going to go around all of our Premier League games in a moment, but Tarab sends it into the back post. Samba heads it down, and De Gea had to be sprightly there, but he was, and blocked it behind next to his post for what I thought was a corner, but it's been given as a goal kick. So it remains 2-0 to the leaders, Manchester United. Back to Arsenal, Jonathan Ledger.
30 seconds of normal time still to go. Arsenal continue to lead. Cazorla 2 goals. Might try a chance now for Walcott, who's through. Fireman pulled one goal back and tries a shot. Just a good save there by Guzan. Could have been 3-1, but Arsenal holding on, looking good it seems for 3 points.
Shrewsbury are now 2-1 up on Stevenage. It's Colchester 1, Tranmere 4. Ross County 3-0 up on Motherwell. Ian Viggers and Aldershot 2-0 up on Fleetwood in Andy Scott's first match as the Aldershot manager. Also Wickham 1, Southend 2. Southend, who got through to the cup final this week and now winning in the league. Be 3 minutes of added time at the end of the game. Here's Valencia to Rooney. Rooney in here, tried to shoot between the legs of Hill, but he just got his knees together to block it.
Yeah, dangerous defending there by Clint Hill. He was stood trying to block Wayne Rooney, didn't know which way he was going to go, and had at least sort of, I think, half a metre between his legs that Wayne Rooney took aim at, and luckily Clint Hill managed to get a block on it.
Game still in the balance at Carrow Road. Russell Fuller.
We have just over 60 seconds of added time to go. It's still Norwich 1, Everton 1, but Norwich are pushing, and the captain, Grant Holt, nearly won it for them just now. A close-range shot, really well smothered by Sylvain Distin, who flung himself at the ball. It remains 1-1 with seconds left.
And West Brom nearly there for victory against Sunderland, Pat Murphy.
They're hanging on 2-1, spirited fight back from Sunderland, but still dangerous on the break, West Brom. But Mignolet just made a magnificent save to deny Brunt. Odemwingie just came on to replace Lukaku to booze. West Brom 2, Sunderland 1.
And Wigan still comfortable at Reading. Wigan leading 3-0 there against their relegation rivals. Commentary to come from 5 o'clock from Twickenham. As soon as this game is finished, we'll be back to Mark Pugac, who is there at Twickenham, who will round up all the football and then hand things across to Alistair Eakin and Matt Dawson and Ian Robertson for the commentary. 6:06 will follow the Six Nations. Mark Chapman and Robbie Savage on 5 Live tonight from around about 7 o'clock. But Manchester United have done the job here, it would seem. Here is Rooney, who came on as a substitute in the second half. If you weren't listening earlier, Robin van Persie sustained some sort of problem in the first half and went off with 5 minutes to go to half-time, but it did have the look as though it was precautionary, but we'll find out more from Sir Alex and from Manchester United. Well, at least I hope we will, after the game. You never quite know, but I trust he will tell us. There has been a late goal at Norwich. Russell Fuller.
And the captain, Grant Holt, 3 minutes and 20 seconds into added time, has won the game for Norwich. The third headed goal of this match. There was an almighty scramble in the area, but Holt's got his head highest. He's nodded past Tim Howard, and Norwich have come from behind. They're going to end a run of 9 games without a win. They lead Everton by 2-1.
It's finished Ross County 3, Motherwell 0. Inverness have won 3-2 at Hearts. We'll hear more from Ian Turner on that in a moment. Here's Mackie for QPR, goes round Evra into the penalty area on the right, crosses, hit the arms of Evra, but he was turning away, and very few people inside the ground, those who remain, actually appealed for handball. You see a banner that's just been put up among the Manchester United supporters. I'll tell you about it in a moment. As Ferdinand heads away, Remy tries to pull it down, gives it back to Taarabt with a shot that is blocked out towards the Manchester United full-back position, and Valencia is there to clear. And the final whistle goes. That banner reads MUFC AAA rating, and they are. Look at the table if you doubt it, because they've won 2-0 here against QPR, and today, February the 23rd, Manchester United have a 15-point lead at the top of the table with 11 games to play. Graham Lassalt.
And the quality of Manchester United's performance will leave nobody in doubt that they're on a mission to secure this Premier League title as soon as they can. Absolutely fantastic performance. Dealt with the little bit of trouble that QPR caused them throughout the game. But, you know, QPR at the other end of the table, they've got so much work to do. They look like a team in crisis, to be honest.
You see David Gill disappearing down into the director's box. Sir Alex Ferguson has led the Manchester United staff towards their supporters, who I must say have supported their team wonderfully today on the way to this victory. But from Loftus Road to North London, and Jonathan Ledger at Arsenal.